You know I love competition. I grew up in competition. I swam for this country from 1978 to 1987. I played football for this country. I coached for this country at Olympics, World Championships, Pan American Games, Commonwealth Games, because I love competition. And competition is when the best go up against the best. Unfortunately, in this politics in Trinidad, all the best are here with the UNC and the coalition of interests. So there is no competition. And just to show you that, I admire intelligence. Intelligence is inspirational. Discipline, punctuality, hard work, creativity. I respect all those things. And our first speaker is a man who performed from primary school, straight through secondary school, into university, into specialism. He is a medical doctor specialist, gynecologist, a brilliant man who probably brought 10% of this crowd into the world from their mothers. Please welcome the former Member of Parliament for Faizabad and the next Member of Parliament and Cabinet Minister. Make some noise for Lackram, Lackram, Bodoe.
UNC family, good night. The code is, good night Siparia, and good night to the returning Member of Parliament for Siparia, and the next Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, Kamla Prasad Bisesa, Senior Counsel. Good night Oropuch West. I want to acknowledge my fellow speakers on this platform, the incoming Member of Parliament, returning Member of Parliament for Oropuchis, Dr. Rudal Monilal, and the returning Member of Parliament for St. Augustine, Khadija Amin. And of course, to recognize the other candidates who are here with us, local government practitioners, and former members of the Parliament of Trinidad and Tobago, my colleagues previously. Ladies and gentlemen, when the UNC wins, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, thousands of you here today and looking on and viewing, I am here tonight to tell you that when the UNC wins, healthcare will win. When the UNC wins, patients will win. When the UNC wins, doctors, nurses, and all other healthcare workers will win. Because a UNC-led government will work to ensure that all citizens receive proper healthcare. Our focus will be patient-centered and resource-driven. We will put patients first. We will deliver your services in a timely and efficient manner. No longer will the elderly go blind while waiting for their cataract surgery. No longer will heart patients die waiting for their angiograms and their stents for their bypass surgery. No longer will you have to wait years to get your CT and MRI scans. No longer will you be told that this medication and that medication is not available for you. No longer will you be waiting years for your clinic appointments and elective surgeries. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, I have here in my hand a document. This document is the UNC Manifesto on Healthcare Reform. This document is available on the UNC Facebook page, and several items have been published in the newspapers already. This is a document that was formulated after consultation with several stakeholders and designed with you, the people, in mind. This document has over 50 policies, plans, and programs that will ensure that your incoming UNC government will not only fix the problems I've outlined above, but will do much more for you in the health sector. We will immediately treat the backlog of patients awaiting critical diagnostic tests and surgeries, including cataract and joint replacement surgery. We will complete the construction, equipping, and operationalization of the cardiac catheterization laboratories at all of our major hospitals. And ladies and gentlemen, I just want to share a little story with you here tonight as we talk about cardiac cath labs. And I call this the San Fernando General Cath Lab saga. In 2014, a space was identified at the San Fernando General Hospital. In 2015, tenders were sent out for cath labs. Between 2015 and 2025, my brothers and sisters, no cath lab from the Alsing. Excuse upon excuse upon excuse, but no cath lab for the Alsing, from the Alsing. But you know what, ladies and gentlemen? They gave you a car park at the San Fernando Hospital instead of building your cath lab. Nothing's wrong with the car park, it's useful. But it just goes to show how this government chooses to prioritize when they're trying to look after or looking after your needs. Under a UNC government, you would no longer suffer from the shortage of medication that you now experience both as inpatients and outpatients. We will review and update the CDAP program to include newer and more effective drugs, especially for those persons with diabetes and hypertension. We will make every effort to ensure that cancer patients receive their treatment in a timely manner, be it the drugs or radiation treatment. Ladies and gentlemen, this manifesto gives a commitment that the UNC government will fix the supply chain issue to prevent, you're always hearing about the shortage of drugs and equipment and supplies. We give the commitment that we will fix that. This is what hinders the work of our hardworking doctors and nurses. We will do an audit of all the faulty equipment to repair the broken equipment and to repair those that are feasible and, of course, to replace those that need to be replaced. We have to ensure, my brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, that when you go to the hospitals, that the doctors and nurses are fully equipped and prepared and have all the resources to be able to treat with you and to treat with your problems in a timely manner. Ladies and gentlemen, we are speaking about delivering services in a timely manner. Many times you will hear the Alsing boasting about he has done 1,000 this and 1,000 that. What he doesn't tell you is how long you've been waiting for that and how many of you have died waiting for an investigation. We will establish guaranteed maximum waiting times for clinic appointments, diagnostic tests, and surgical procedures. So you will be given the guarantee, brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, that when you visit a health facility, that you will be given a time, maximum time that you'll have to wait for any of these investigations. And we will ensure that you, the taxpayer, get value for your money for the over $7 billion annual expenditure in the health sector. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, over $7 billion is spent every year, has been spent every year by this government in the health sector. Have you gotten value for money? No, you haven't. Nobody can say they've gotten value for money. So instead of contracting out the disposal of medical waste to friends and financiers at a monthly cost of hundreds of thousands of dollars, we will repair and, if necessary, upgrade the in-house incineration equipment at the SWRHA. That is what is happening right now at the SWRHA. They are outsourcing. This could be fixed. No longer will your taxpayer dollar be spent on a full-page ad by the NCRHA. If you notice in the newspapers for the past 3, 4, 5 years, every 3 weeks, 3 or 4 weeks, the NCRHA has a full-page ad telling you what? That they are doing what they are paid to do. They're telling you that they're treating patients. That is what they are paid to do. They don't need to spend money advertising this. So we will ensure that that money instead will be spent on fixing the electrical system at the Eric Williams Medical Sciences Complex, so you don't have to move ICU patients to another facility every time there is a power outage. What an outrageous situation. Brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, we will ensure that doctors and nurses at the Arima Hospital do what they are paid to do, which is instead of having to transfer their patients to Eric Williams for emergency care and surgeries because they are not provided with the resources to do their work. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, I now come to an issue which will go down as the greatest injustice in treating with the healthcare needs of our citizens of Trinidad and Tobago by this heartless PNM government. This is one that Terry should really cry for, and I'll explain why. He really should shed a tear for this. When you hear this story, all of us should be shedding a tear. On Friday, 14th August 2015, then Prime Minister Kamla Prasad Bisesa opened a fully equipped 230-bed hospital in Couva. I know, I was there as chairman of the SWRHA. When questioned in Parliament over the years 2015, 2020, the Alsing never failed to refer to it as a construction site. And ladies and gentlemen, the PNM propaganda machinery is so good that even you who were seeing videos of a completed and fully equipped hospital, even you, some of you, they made some of you believe that this was a construction site. But you must never forget that in 2020, this so-called construction site was opened within a matter of 2 weeks, and the Couva Hospital was able to save thousands of lives during the COVID pandemic. Ladies and gentlemen, we give you the assurance here tonight that when we get into government, as we surely will, that we will make sure that the Couva Hospital is fully operationalized and will be there to benefit all of the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. And talking about COVID-19, we commit to doing a full review of the management of COVID-19 pandemic in Trinidad and Tobago. And we will create an emergency response plan to cover all possible medical crises ranging from natural hazards and oil spills to infectious diseases. Never again should our country be caught so unprepared as it was under the PNM government during the COVID-19 pandemic. But you know, ladies and gentlemen, this is a country that, you know, if you can't laugh about it, you're going to have to cry. Earlier this year, they did only what a PNM government could do. A few weeks ago, they opened a real construction site at the Central Block and called it a hospital. Ladies and gentlemen, they take you, the good people of Trinidad and Tobago, for granted. They think that some of you are fools. Only the PNM has the goal to open a construction site and call it a hospital. But when the UNC opens a hospital, you know it's a real hospital. Ladies and gentlemen, our leader has the plans and policies to rebuild and restore not only the health sector, but our entire nation of Trinidad and Tobago. She is a caring and compassionate leader. Her number one item on the health manifesto is to deal with children, and it is this. It is a commitment to review the Children's Life Fund legislation so that many more of our children with urgent surgical and other medical requirements will be able to access this facility. Kamla Prasad Bisesa will ensure that the elderly and school children receive compassionate and timely care. We'll once again open your health centers for extended hours and on the weekends for your convenience. We will engage the over 500 unemployed doctors to reach out to the elderly and school children in a real and meaningful way, in their homes and in the schools. Nothing to do with virtual doctor consultations as proposed by this clueless government. I don't have the time to address the shortcomings of that, but I'll leave that there to discuss at another forum. Ladies and gentlemen, the UNC will ensure that our newborn babies are looked after properly. We will review the status of all the NICU units in our health facilities. You will no longer have to worry that when your newborn baby might die from an infection because there is not enough hand sanitizer available for doctors and nurses to wash their hands. Ladies and gentlemen, this was a finding in the PAHO report when the Alsing tried to shoot the messenger rather than take the message on board. The tragedy of 9 deaths in 7 days last April, 1 year ago, from infection at the Port of Spain General Hospital ought never to happen again in this country. And you know, I just want to make a plug here for San Fernando West and to remind those of you in San Fernando West that the only major project that you got in the last 11 years was the 216-bed San Fernando Teaching Hospital delivered to you in February of 2014 by then Prime Minister Kamla Prasad Bisesa and the People's Partnership. Ladies and gentlemen, she has done it before as Prime Minister and she will do it again when, with your help, on April 28, she once again becomes Prime Minister. Ladies and gentlemen, as I close, I urge you to go out, to take your families, to take your friends, and to take your neighbors to vote for the United National Congress and the Rising Sun on April 28. Remember, when the UNC wins, patients win. When the UNC wins, healthcare workers win. When the UNC wins, everybody wins. May God continue to bless our great party, our great leader, and our great nation. I thank you.
Make some noise for Dr. Lackram, Bodoe. The PNM so confused, they start off with all in. When Kamala destroy it and say, we not all in with crime, we not all in with no water, we not all in with poverty, we not all in with dying babies at the hospital, they change to the word is read. Well, when we mash up that now, they're confused. They talk about responsibility. There is no responsibility in the PNM. You, the citizens, must show responsibility and vote them out. Imagine a bully called Stuart Richard Young say he going to protect our nation's women. Well, boy, I laugh till I get asthma. I choke on my doubles and I wash it down with coffee. Let me tell you, Kamala Persad-Bissessar is the strongest woman in this country and she take them all on. And a strong woman finds other strong, brilliant women to serve alongside them. Please welcome our next speaker, the candidate for St. Augustine, former MP and next MP, a woman who came up through local government into the parliament. Make some noise for Khadija Amin.
We are in the home of the next Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. Let me hear some noise from Siparia. And a special good night to the St. Augustine posse who is here. My brothers and sisters, every day when we walk, when we meet people, we find more and more young people coming and telling us yellow is the code. They are ready to vote for the UNC to be in government. I want to tell you that while the PNM is on their platform busy throwing peacock, we are busy over here making plans and policies to save Trinidad and Tobago, and we are going to win this election. When we walk and we meet young people, we also talk to their parents. Our young people, because they have been denied opportunities, because this government has shut down so many training and tertiary education programs, because our schools are falling apart, because every Monday morning sewer systems leaking, you can't get paper to make photocopies. Our children are falling through the cracks. Our government will, when we come in government, put children and young people at the forefront of national development to ensure that they are ready for sustainable employment. And I want to tell you that our young people have been victims of crime in more ways than one. Because when you are a victim of a criminal is one thing, but many of our young people who end up as criminals are also victims of the PNM mismanagement and neglect. And that is why in our schools, our children must be safe. And so the UNC government will introduce full-time police officers in all schools. The UNC will ensure that our children are in our classrooms safely, but we will also, within the Ministry of Education, prepare all our children to maximize education opportunities. We will have to start off on the right foot, universal screening and treatment of children. So between the ages of 4 and 6, you will have neurodevelopmental and physical well-being, mental well-being, and socio-economic well-being assessments of our young people. So that very early, you can determine if there are issues that you need to treat with. Because there are many young people in schools who end up as criminals, who are bullies, because they have learning disabilities, because they have problems at home, and we don't know, but it manifests in them being violent to other children. We will ensure that the Student Support Services Division of the Ministry of Education, that the PNM has short-staffed for the past 10 years, that they are fully staffed, but also re-engineered to become the primary operation for the screening and treatment of our children. So from the age of 4 to 6, it will take them through their entire journey in the schools, so that at any time you could have early detection of issues before it reaches to violence, so that school violence will be reduced under this government. My friends, you have heard us talking about the challenges of the Children's Authority. The Children's Authority was given so much resources under the government led by Kamla Prasad-Bissessar from 2010. What happened under the PNM? They are totally dismantled. They don't have staff. They don't have money to do anything. The role of the Children's Authority under the new government will be re-examined and more focused on regulatory and overarching supervisory